All right, it's 4:30. We're gonna call the meeting to order. I guess we need to start out with roll call to start out with, so, Miss Patsy's not on, right? Don Eden,
I'm here, Mr. Chairman.
Burton Glover,
Here.
Bill Moore,
Here.
Randy Wilson, here. All right, so we're gonna start off today with, Mr. Stansberry, is that correct?
Stooksbury.
Is that correct?
Stooksbury.
You hear me, sir?
Stooksbury.
Do you
Yes,
hear me,
sir.
sir?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, very well.
This is what he asked me to hand out.
Corey's handing out your stuff that you wanted to see right now.
Well, that's just some very basic stuff I just wanted you to look at.
Okay, we're going to turn it over to you, Mike, so you don't have to go through all our minute approvals and budget amendments and all that stuff we have to do afterwards. So you have the floor, sir.
Okay. Got a quick question. How do y'all look at solid waste? Now, it may sound like a trick question to you, but I want to make a statement, go through some statements.
Come right here, I think, come this way.
And if you want me to, I can kind of answer the question for you. It's a county service. Okay? But the one thing that county services are, they're general services. And what happened when the Solid Waste Act was passed in 1991, solid waste isn't a general service the way it is passed in law. The way it's passed in law, it's a personal service. And what's been happening over the last 29 years is it's been being approached as a general service. And the counties have been, most of the counties have been trying to take care of it with tax dollars. And counties aren't set up to do that, to provide a personal service on back of tax money. If you'll look at that sheet that says solid waste fees, I'll do a quick number on that. What's happening is the people that are being charged are 71% of it, and 29% of the folks are going for free. Okay, solid waste should be approached like a business, the way the county handles it. Okay, the law says that you will have basics like convenience centers. Luckily, y'all have a transfer station, which cuts down on your cost for hauling your waste. Okay, you're providing the basic service. Now, and I'm talking from personal dealings with this, because I used to run solid waste, is you need to once you put the general service or the collection point and handling in place, you can use the tax dollars to do that. But when the folks can start bringing it in there, they need to be treated as customers. And they need to be paying for their individual service. Your tax dollars on a farm, and I'm speaking, a farmer out here should not be paying for a guy that owns a apartment complex, solid waste. A rural man's tax dollars shouldn't be paying for a city's disposal. You see what I'm saying? If it's generated, one person generates 100 tons, the guy here generates 2 tons per household, shouldn't be paying for his waste. Okay.
Well,
I hope that's making sense to you.
let me ask a question.
Go for it.
All right, you're talking about the cities, the city of Springfield is paying a county tax. The taxpayers in the city of Springfield are paying a tax.
Yeah,
went into our tax revenue. Now, what I understand we do in Robeson County is that we accept the trash that the city of Springfield brings to the transfer station. And the basis for that is because they have paid a tax into our revenue.
but that tax is used to provide a facility, right?
Correct.
Okay, now, if you'll go back and look at the numbers, that city is generating twice as much as a resident out in the country.
Okay, I don't disagree. I never have seen the figures. The figures are
Well,
not.
if you want me to, I'll go back and run the numbers and show them to you.
Okay, no, there's no reason. I could understand that, but I just never have been provided that information.
Well, let's look at it this way, okay? How much are they charging per household? And I just asked this question because what I've happened where counties have been taking city waste, a lot of times they use a fee that's generated by MTS. Well, MTS, when they generate the fee, generates for collection, transportation, and disposal. And then say like in these, and I'm saying this is for y'all, I'm just throwing stuff out there. In your case, they have collection, which they have to pay for. But how much transportation do they have? They run down to your transfer station and they have no disposal. Or is that being considered in there? I don't know their fees, so I can't tell you that.
Now, you talking about the city of Springfield's fees?
Yeah. How much is it?
I don't know how much. I never have seen.
I
the
don't know what,
figures.
I don't live in the cities. I don't know what they charge.
Well, I
on
mean,
electric
we could
bill.
very, we could very easily figure that out.
I believe it's part of your city tax.
Well, I'm just throwing out questions. As they say, I'm playing the devil's advocate, okay? Because I'm trying to make your program break even.
Sanitation fee on their bill.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, when you start talking about a city not in Robeson County not paying their fair part, then we need to be seeing the figures. This committee needs to see.
Well, here, you've got, you're basically, the people that's bringing it in there, 71% of the people are paying for it and 29% aren't. I'm talking about ends of the transfer station.
Right.
And that includes bringing the convenience centers in.
So say that last again.
It's on that sheet of paper.
Okay, I see I see the percentage you're talking about.
Right.
Okay. Well, how did you come up with this breakdown of these figures?
I took the revenue during that period that's on there
Okay.
and divided in by what you charge per ton and got the tonnage. And then I subtracted it from the tonnage that's hauled out.
Do you understand that, Bill?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
I'm not. You go.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Don.
Do I have a copy of this handout he's talking about in your packet, Corey?
It was the first email I sent. I sent 2 emails. The first one, was the documents.
So
I just put that together for y'all to have some numbers to look at.
So Corey, it's in the first email, not the second one.
Correct.
That's all I need to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For 30 tons, we're paying out a transfer fee that we're not getting any revenue off of. And for 30,000 tons, we're paying a transfer fee of $35 a ton and not getting any revenue out of that.
That's been paid with tax dollars.
Yes, sir.
My you start dealing with solid waste, is treat everyone fairly. That's what I tell everybody. City, rural, treat everybody fair. And you got a good program. Now, when we talk about charging, say I live 2 miles from the transfer station. Well, there's a certain amount you can bring in there without being charged for it. I make 4 or 5 loads. And I don't get charged for them because they're real small loads. But then some other guy lives over, say, Greenboro. And he saves all his up and brings it in 1 load, but it's big enough that he has to pay. Now, is that fair?
Well,
I see your point.
he has the option to take it to the convenience center.
Maybe it's he is headed into town. He's headed into Springfield.
Our convenience centers won't take over so many bags.
Yeah, I know it.
It's a
It's supposed to
10-bag
be 6
limit.
bags or 8 bags. I know.
10-bag limit.
Well, I mean,
I'm just,
that,
like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm just throwing stuff out for y'all to think about. Because what is happening, y'all have, over the last 3 or 4 years, your fund's been going down, and the reason it's going down is the cost for doing business is going up.
That's for sure.
okay, I understand that statement.
And solid waste, that's the problem with county government versus city government. County government is, like I said before, is not used to doing personal services where everybody in the county uses it. It's used to having police department, sheriff's departments, used to education, it's used to highway. Everybody don't use that every day, but there's hardly any time that somebody's not throwing something away every day.
Well, is the bottom line you saying we're not charging enough to,
It's not,
I'm talking about,
you could do it. You could do it through a basic solid waste fee, just to the individuals. You know, like $3 a month or $5 a month or something like that. And then you're just talking about the cities. Let's bring it up. You know, if we're paying $5 a month and the rural guy's paying $5 a month, that kind of brings it back into perspective. Because each person's paying the same amount. Now, per household, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I better pull this out here. The problem that in most counties realize they need to do that, but the problem is the billing. Now, Dixon County was able to partner with Electric Cooperative to do the billing. Now, like Cheatham County would like to, but they're small enough that they can't afford to set up the billing services.
So what you're really saying here is rather than saying 5 cents out of the tax rate goes to solid waste, charge each landowner or whatever individually or.
A household. I like the household approach better because that's where it's usually generated.
Okay, all right.
well,
And now the city of Springfield does not pick up any, commercial or, what would you say, industrial or any of that kind of trash, right?
The commercial cards, they pay a flat fee for. We schedule that on how many cards times 50 pounds a household. They get billed a separate bill monthly for commercial cards.
Who
does?
City of Springfield does?
City of Springfield and City of White House.
Oh, for commercial, but they don't pick up any industrial or anything of that.
No, it's just like a regular card they sit out like at a hair salon up here in the middle of town or, you know, those little cards just like the residents have.
all right, and we're charging that business
we're charging the city of Springfield for dumping that commercial trash.
And I'm sure they charge.
Well,
Yeah.
how do you differentiate that trash when it comes in on a truck?
That's why we just charge a flat monthly fee based on how many carts they have that are commercial.
How many carts?
How many actual carts they're picking up per week
All right.
that are
Are you
commercial.
talking about on the street?
Yes.
Is that what you call a cart?
Yes.
We're charging how much?
I just did the figures and sent to both of the cities for an updated number and it went up about $100 a month for the city of Springfield. The White House.
Well, but how much a cart are you charging?
Oh, I take the formula I have is it's based on a household of 3. You take an average, like T-Deck average is a ton per person per year.
Okay.
You take that formula and then times that by the carts times 52 weeks to equal so many pounds. I take that pounds times by 35.70. No, I do it by our gate rate. Now I've times it times 54 times our gate rate. So like City of Springfield pays $1,700 and something a month
For a cart rate, you call it.
is their commercial cart rate.
How many carts?
308, I believe is what their count was, 306 or 308.
And now that's a business? That's not a
Commercial.
resident?
No, just
Okay,
commercial
that's a
cars.
Well, it's a business entity inside the city limits, okay.
Yes,
All right, and then the carts that you pick up at a household, a resident, I should say,
right.
there's no charge for that. That's covered by the tax revenue we get from,
Right, they don't pay anything for
Okay,
what we
all right,
consider domestic.
all right, I follow you, okay.
Dennis, you're on the budget committee and I'm listening to Mike. It's like this morning Springfield told me they wasn't gonna have a tax increase. But they're going up on their water 7%. They're going up on their gas 3.5%. They're going up on their sewage 5%. So instead of having a property tax, they have a fee like he's talking about we could do per house and it wouldn't be on the property tax. And then you could say we didn't have a property tax increase either because we charge them for a fee per house.
Yeah. I like what I'm hearing from him. I think what we need to do is get away from our property tax being allocated to the solid waste and come down to something for it that everybody pays. And that residential in Springfield, residential White House, wherever we're about, everybody pays it. And it's a fee per household or whatever. And when it comes to commercial, I wouldn't take any commercial. They come across the scales and they get weighed, and we pay based on the tonnage of it's coming in there. And if Springfield's picking it up, tell them we're not taking it any longer. Got to get this down to something that's simple to understand. That's my 2 cents and how I feel about it.
The only problem with it is commercial is part of your income. You charge them, you've got the facility already there, you charge them for bringing it across there.
Right. I agree. But I'm saying is,
You've already got, it's kind of like farming. If you don't have to buy the tractors and all that, farm a certain amount of land, it's not going to cost you more to farm some more land. Same thing with this. It's not going to cost you more to have the equipment sitting there and that facility sitting there, make your money off of it.
what I'm saying is though, I don't want commercial to factor into the rate per household.
Oh, no.
So that commercial that's coming across, that is coming maybe one bin or whatever they're talking about, it sounds way too low to me. Because I've been around enough businesses and what I pay.
No difference.
Well, one thing it sounds like to me that we need is this committee needs a breakdown on all the sources of income that solid waste is utilizing. That would be the 5 cents that is allocated to solid waste. It's this fee that I was not aware of that you're just talking about, Corey. You know, then how many households are coming in, just residents, or that we're providing the service for, that are in the tax rate. In other
So
words,
the city or the,
Yeah,
Well,
he's talking
in
about
each
the-
city.
I think he's talking about the cities, yeah.
yeah, I'm talking about the cities. And that way we can take a look at in the revenue stream, which I think that's what Dennis is talking about. Then we can make a better analysis of our revenue stream and then, maybe move more towards these fees that like the city of Springfield utilizes. Now,
What you basically need, and this goes along with what you're saying, you need to look at a business plan. Put together a business plan
Yes.
and run your solid waste like a business. You was talking about revenue streams. Let me tell you another place that y'all are losing money is your waste tires. If you'll look at that other sheet.
Okay.
During this time period that I'm able to pick up these numbers on, I lost $1,900 on tires. And I better back up and give a little history here. And some of you have been around long enough, you remember you got a T-Deck tire grant. Remember that?
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
And they told you what to do. And back in 2015, we got that change where it comes directly to you. Now, the bad problem that developed because they had the grant program is they kept telling tire dealers that was their money. It's not their money. That is it. Sadly, I don't know who named it that. That is a privilege tax. And up till 2015, it was ran through T-Deck. And T-Deck would tell you what you could do, when you could get, how much you was going to get, and all this. And that's not right. That is a privilege tax paid by the tire dealers to help the county establish a place to take the tires to, and to take care of stray tires along the road. That was what that original intent was. But over a period of time, the grant program developed, and if you'd like to see it, I can show you where it did. That's how CTAS lost their money through T-Deck, because we showed them where they, for like at least a 3-year period, they raked about $2.5 million every year off of it. Okay, now that being said, but a lot of counties charge the tire dealer whatever it costs them to get rid of the tire. It costs us $70 a ton. To be fair, I just threw a quarter tire in there just to get the program out of the red. What you really should be charging is about $1 a tire for every tire brought in there.
And they're just gonna pass it on to the customer, ain't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hear me, Mike?
I can't hurt.
And all they're gonna do is pass it on to the customer.
They already go and look. When was the last time you bought a set of tires?
Yeah, I got charged $5 per tire, wasn't it?
Yeah, the state collects $1.35. I had this in my home county here. I changed tire dealers because just what was said, pay the same amount as the new guy I go to, but the old guy wasn't being honest about it. And in my home county here, the county had 5 trailers that they own. If they had the dealerships, they would pay for the trailers to be, they own the trailers, they paid for the trailers to be full, and they paid for disposal. That guy was charging me $5 a tire. And the way he'd do it, he'd say $1.35 state fee, and the rest was environmental fee. And what he'd do is take that tire out, go out to the trailer, throw it in the trailer, and the county took care of it.
Right. They charged me $5 a tire and he's throwing it back in my truck.
But that, you see what I'm saying? They're, it's not, they're not paying, that what they're passing along is part of the profit. And I'm not mad because there's some really good tire dealers out there that are very straightforward to say, okay, this is what it costs me to get rid of it. And that's the one I deal with. That's what he tells me. He says, I got to take this over to the county and pay for it. I'll pay it.
All right. Had you seen this sheet before? We came in here today, this, of course, got this $1,914 loss.
Yeah, he emailed this morning.
Okay. Do you understand how you arrived at that? I mean, have you had time to analyze this sheet is what I'm asking Corey.
I mean, I looked at it this morning. I actually sent him a spreadsheet showing the total tires and what we paid for them so he could come up with this. Like I went through these months.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, do you understand how he comes up with, I don't understand. I'm gonna have to sit down and go through what Mike has put down here, but, so you don't either. You're gonna have to analyze it further to understand why he's showing this $1,900 loss.
Yeah, I mean, because this is, the first column is the disposal costs that I gave him each month. The second column is what the scales brought in for tire tipping fees on the rim, extra in a load. The tire income from state, they pay quarterly. That's why you see it.
That's the fee I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the fee we get back from the state.
Okay.
And then that's what he's got. That's the revenue, and then there's the cost. So,
Well, no.
That
I
tire disposal
had
cost,
all these columns up and you,
out.
okay, cost and it's 53,000 is estimated income.
No, that 53,000, that's the estimated number of tires.
he took the tonnage and broke it down.
But then, okay, let me break it down. That first column is the month and year that it's done in. Second column is the total disposal cost. That's what it costs the county to get rid of it.
Okay.
Okay, the tire income from scales, what she means is like random people bring tires in that she charges for that are not dealers. State income, this is where tire dealers going to argue with you because they say, they keep trying to go back to this old state grant, which you do not get anymore. But that is money that's paid directly to you. And I know how there's only one thing that's messed up in that. And because I helped write the legislation that got it sent back to the county, was the state it has to go for beneficial land use. And that's where you're having to pay $70 a ton for it. Which, by the way, I commend y'all on getting rid of them for $70 a ton, because I got a county that is much, much closer to the plant than you are, paying $155 and doing their own hauling. Okay, that money that's from the state income. That's the next one is the tons of tires you got that you hauled out each month, which generate back to the total tire cost. And I just did that. Last column is estimated number of tires. And my computer apparently did not round that off on that first one. But anyway. So that's estimated number of tires come through there, period.
Corey, have you ever made any kind of analysis like this?
On the tires, I mean, I've looked at but I have no idea what people have paid in to the state as far as what revenue is going to come in until 3 months later. I mean, I can go back and estimate. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
They do not pay it in, but every quarter. And usually it's 60 days after it's paid in before she'll know what's paid in.
Well, how you gonna make any accurate, estimation of what you're gonna receive each month?
You know,
Yeah.
You just have to
I'm asking-
forecast based on previous years, wouldn't you?
That's why you need to be charging.
Well, how do you go about making any kind of reasonable estimation?
Well, they should, every quarter, when they pay it in, they should let you know how much they paid in. They have to file it with the state. And you can do estimates, or you can give them credits and bill them at the end of it. You say, bill them out and then give them a credit on the next quarter. All you do is do a running book on it.
Have you ever had any kickback about what we were charging, Corey?
Well-
For tire disposal?
no, not, not from individuals, but I know, I was talking to the solid waste director in Dixon County, and he said they don't charge the tire dealers just because there's so many of them. And he said him and his mayor both had spoke to some of them and they just got so much kickback. But, you know, if our dealers here in town are charging, you know, the $5, then they're making money off tires to where we're losing.
How much do they pay you when they bring tires out there?
A dealer doesn't pay me anything.
Yep.
Because of the money, like he said.
You're supposed to get back.
That's the state money.
But it doesn't cover it. They pay we get $1. They pay in $1.35. The state keeps 35 cents for paperwork. So they just give us $1.
They get 10 cents of that for paperwork.
Oh, that's right. The dealer does. Yeah. The dealer gets 10, the state gets a quarter, but
Guess how much?
a quarter. But we actually only get $1 out of that $1.35 that even they have there.
So what the guy that the mayor brought tires from, paid $3.85 per tire.
Yeah.
Just for throwing them out in the trailer.
That's pretty simple, then, ain't it? They need to be paying more.
That's right.
Yeah, I think, I
Well,
think
I
so.
mean, how many tire dealers you got in Robinson County?
Boy, ought to know pretty close.
Well, it went down because, well, actually, some don't even come to us. Like Liberty Tire sets, which we still pay for the disposal, but they don't actually come through my facility because they set a trailer at Rod's and Hollinsworth, since they are the biggest.
And Firestone.
Yeah, and the Firestone up here, because they are the biggest ones in the county. Now, as far as
Can I ask a question, Corey?
sure,
Liberty Places is a trailer there. Who pays for Liberty?
we pay for the disposal.
Okay,
Now,
now,
We're just not having the hand.
I'm throwing this out there because I'm going back up to where the county had out 5 trailers. When I did an audit for them, 33% of the tires that were on those trailers that were put out by the county were never had any money run through the county coffers. You know, they come in and they just throw them in there. Somebody said, "Oh, get break them. You got something to get rid of? Just throw them in there."
Yeah, I
the
see.
county ends up paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Back to what I was saying. This is a business.
Back to what you said right there, that could be happening right here to us easily when we have these trailers that they set up at these places.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if I went to Hollinsworth in the morning, I said, "Hey, Mark, I got 10 tires out here I need to get rid of." He said, "Just throw them on that trailer right there." That'd be kind of what he's talking about, I think.
I mean, when they pull that trailer, for instance, we'll use Hollinsworth, when they pull it, they bring it across my scales, because I do pay by the weight of my scales. They come in and weigh, when they're on the way to Hollinsworth to get their empty weight, they go pick it up and come back. That was in the contract with Liberty that we pay by our scales. So those loads do come across our scales, so they actually we get an accurate weight at least, but they still can, you know, like you said,
Right.
somebody
That's
can
what
mind
he's saying.
throw it in.
That's what he was saying, I think.
well, now,
Now, Corey can only do business the way that y'all direct her to do it. So I'm just throwing this out here. Y'all need to sit down and take your approach. Hey, Corey, you need to do this and this and this. or here's how we want you to charge. You know, that's the only way she can do business. She's direct, she runs operations, and y'all provide her directions to run those operations. I'm just telling you that's gonna make your operation run a lot smoother, a lot more profitable. And I hate to use that term because in reality, it's not supposed to be profitable, but it's supposed to finance itself. It should be run on an enterprise fund. Even if it's supported in some part by taxes, it should be still done on an enterprise fund, or at least a special revenue fund.
Yeah.
Where you keep, where that is Judge Moore on the ride, my ride anyway.
Yeah, Glover over here.
You dealt with, huh?
Are you talking about Judge Glover right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
Talking to you.
you've all dealt with businesses. And you all know you can't run a business at a loss.
That's right.
So, you know,
Not for long.
y'all ain't need to have a business plan to pass on to her.
Well, all right, you've used the term, business model, which I understand. I've been in business, so I know what a business model is. I mean, I know that the business I was in, every month we pulled a financial statement. We knew what each department was doing. We knew what the income was. We knew what the overhead was.
Exactly.
And then we were looking at the bottom line as to, you know, the business model was to make money. Of course, that's not the business model necessarily with the county, but they do need to break even.
They need to, here's the approach that I would recommend is your plan ahead what you want to do. If you've got a major construction, new piece of equipment, whatever, you figure into that business plan where you got a little cushion in there where you're not have to come up with tax dollars to take care of that. You already got your infrastructure in place pretty well from what I can tell. Just set your business model up where you can keep that running smoothly. You don't have to make a profit,
All right.
but you do need to cover any expenses you expect.
All right, let me ask a question. Can you provide us some samples of a business model?
I'll probably come with you something. Yes, sir.
Well, I think that would be helpful to us to get some samples that you have found to be good samples, good operations.
Okay. I'm working on 4 10-year plans right now.
Well,
I'm actually on annual leave right now, so
just make it a half a dozen then.
I will try to get you something together.
All right, that sounds good.
That's great.
Anybody else got any questions?
No, I appreciate it. I've learned a lot this afternoon.
We appreciate the information you provided for us, and
All right,
we'll probably be talking to you some more too.
yeah.
Hopefully next time it can be face to face.
That'd be great too.
That's right. You come to Robinson County next time.
Well, we've got one question for you. Is Catfish place open?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
they building a drive-through right now,
Yep. Curbside service.
but you can go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But no,
You come on up, Mr. Glover, and buy your dinner.
Yeah.
We have our
Be a
meeting at the
Sonic.
Catfish House.
He said so.
At Price Burgers.
Yeah, yeah, come on up. We'll go to Sonic.
now I'm gonna have to quit going to Sonic. My next door neighbors that turned out they own 2 of them.
We appreciate it though very much.
Okay.
I'll take care.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, has everybody, have you read the minutes? Probably hadn't had time.
No, I ain't ready in minutes.
We need to get them approved. Then we can go on. Me and Billy's gotta go milk the cows pretty soon.
Well, y'all may be a little late this afternoon.
No, can't be late till we bill.
I read the minutes, Mr. Chairman. I'll make the motion.
Wait, well, I ain't read them yet.
Take your time.
I will.
I don't remember Russell Gupton being here last week, was he?
He was on there.
Oh, okay.
Not the last one, time before last,
I guess he just wanna know what's going on,
I guess. I seen it when it popped up on there.
Well, we do know the dentist is doing nails if we need our nails done.
I need my toenails, not my, I don't have my fingernails yet.
I second Mr. Eaton's motion.
We got a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Roll call.
Roll call. Sorry.
Donnie.
I guess Miss Patsy, she ain't on there. She show up, right? So ain't gonna let me call her name, right? Okay, Don Eden,
Yes.
Burton Glover,
Yes, with the right to make any, to bring anything up at the next meeting I don't understand.
Bill Moore, Randy Wilson, yes. 4, 1 absent. Okay, Corey, I guess we'll just turn this over to you with your reports.
On which page, will you?
Well, page 9 is the
Nine.
first report, and I brought a copy of that last 2 weeks ago. And, then we just went back and added in those numbers that Jody gave us there that she went and pulled off the computer for us. So that's the same. The second page I showed,
Now wait a minute.
second report.
You're looking at
I'm sorry.
page 9 first.
Yeah, that's the
Just
same
look at them
thing.
together, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, page 9 is what I gave you at the last meeting. We just went back and plugged in the transfer station income and the, recycling income that Jody gave us on that sheet. She went and pulled off the computer for us.
Is that page 10?
That's
No,
page
it's
9. So, in other words, this is just an updated copy with those two numbers plugged in.
So looking at this, it really bears out what you were saying about everybody cleaning out their garages and their, storage buildings or whatever for the amount of,
For April?
the trash that came across the scale.
Right.
Solid waste, excuse me.
And there was, and then I also, on page 10 is where I went in, how you wanted me to put the no charge over to that right I moved it over to the right column. I didn't figure in the amount. I went back and just kind of wrote that in this time. I'll have that in there, but that was the total tonnage we took in April at no charge, and times the 3570 disposal cost, gives you that dollar amount, 51,000. But I'll make that look better. I didn't do it, and we already had it printed, so I just
All right,
penciled it
and
in.
of course, that's the area that we need to look at and see if we want to make some adjustments.
That's what he was saying about the-
See,
About the pay for the households,
yes.
kind of what.
Well, I mean, we, appears to me, we need to do that before we, well, I mean, in conjunction with approving the new budget. Mayor, what do you think, don't you? You follow,
Yeah, I follow what you're saying,
I know it's kind of short and be hard to do, but
you either gonna have to charge a fee per household or start giving them more out of property tax.
that's correct. But
I like the thing with the fee per household. Now, if we look at this thing, I pay taxes on a lot and a half
I
of
mean,
the house.
of course,
And the rest of you gentlemen have got
if we could
hundreds
get,
of acres.
if we knew what some
large
other counties were doing,
And you're paying
uh,
4 to 9.
do you know any counties that are doing what he recommends?
They charge it on like he said, Dixon County charges it on the electric bill, then people don't pay when
I
they come
understand,
across.
but do you know how much per
Per household,
old house.
I don't,
But
because I think Williamson,
I mean, we just can't, I wouldn't know how to pull a figure out of that.
right,
And
I can, well, I haven't investigated that in years. We addressed that probably over 10 years ago. I don't know, you were probably on the committee back
Yeah.
then, but
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
I just got an idea. You know, when I'm in business, and one of the things that when we're doing a business model, we look at what our costs are, and we're looking at what's going up and what capital expenditures are coming up that we know we got to be able to pay for when they come in. So one of the things I do is I look at what I'm selling, and what we're selling is the ability for them to drop off trash for each household. I think you take the number of households and we divide it into our costs, and then we break out pieces of it. Like tires should be over here as a separate item. But the transfer of trash, we know what that costs, what going out costs are. All we got to do is take that and divide it by the number of households. And then we'll have an idea of what we got to charge per household. That's where I'd start. And if that number looks too high compared to our neighbors, then we need to dig deeper into our numbers and see where we're missing something. What are we why is our number out of line with all the others? In business, we call it our competitors. We look and see what our competitors are charging, because we can't get too far out of line with them. But that's what I suggest. You take the total cost divided by the number of households.
Hey, Dennis, in 2018, we was paying 1.8 million in disposal fees. That was 2018. Here it is 2020, and we're paying 2.2.
Yeah.
That's $119,000 more than it was 2 years ago, but we haven't gave any more of the tax rates to the solid waste committee.
And my point is, I think I agree with the gentleman we're talking to. The tax rate is an unfair way of allocating these costs back to the end users. I think the household, and maybe do something with commercial tonnage. If we're going to take commercial, that's fine, but they've got to pay based on their use. And that's the point.
See, right now, solid waste is not getting 1.9% of the property tax. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
So that's what that 5 cents represents.
1.9% of the tax rate.
Josh, question.
Well, we're fixing that. If we don't solve this problem like we're talking right now, we're fixing to give them a whole lot more of that tax rate, because we're going to have to raise taxes, either give them a larger portion of the tax rate or raise taxes to accomplish it. And I don't think that's the best way to do this.
Josh,
To me, when he said this is an enterprise fund,
back there,
that's exactly.
Come on up here.
The,
Walk up here where Dennis can hear.
I've been working with some other counties on a rural fire fee, basically the same argument of if you pay for your rural fire services through the tax rate, it's not being fairly distributed. So the counties are looking at ways to do a rural fire fee based on each residence. And counties have the authority to do that the same way that you guys have the authority to levy, or to fairly easily levy a sanitation fee per household. The issue is what Mike brought up. It's extremely difficult to implement. Nobody wants to levy somebody else's fee on their bill. Dixon was able to do it because they cover the whole county, but you would have to convince CEMC to do it, which they definitely don't want to do it. And then you would have to convince Springfield Electric to do it. You'd have 4 or 5.
you're talking about the building part.
The billing part. And so the ability to do it is much more difficult to actually get anybody to be willing to do it, because nobody wants to add fees to their bill. Then they have to make the argument. Some of the utilities have said, well, if they've paid my portion of the bill, but not your portion of the bill, I'm not going to cut off their utilities. And then so they're very hesitant to go down that road, which is why right now all the groups I've been working with are leaning on the tax rate, raising the tax rate to meet the obligation, because they haven't figured out a good way to do the household fee. I just wanted to throw that out there.
It makes
Thanks,
sense.
Josh.
It
But
does,
still, it makes a lot of sense what Mr. Moore said a while ago too. Why should me and him have to pay the There's a lot of people don't pay, is what we're saying.
Absolutely.
Or you can get them that way. I understand what you're saying too, Josh. It
Well,
makes all,
it's just like the license plates. I mean, you know, you got the renters.
right, that's kind of what I was saying there.
Yeah, that's.
Trying to be nice.
That's the example that you alluding to. Well, we
You know,
just have to,
Get,
you know, that'll be a tough nut to
could
crack.
explore through the
Well, maybe he-
trustee's office. They send out the tax bills or the tax
What do you think, Bill?
once a month. I don't
Oh,
know.
That would probably, he's hitting on something.
Yeah,
They know how many houses is on that tax bill, and they can put an extra amount on each house on the tax bill.
Yeah.
It wouldn't go on a parcel of land, it would go on the house.
Right,
Yeah.
household,
And every new house is built would automatically be rolled into that.
right?
there's gotta be a way.
I think Bill's hitting on something
And
there.
it-
You think
it-
so,
it-
Josh? That
Well,
makes sense?
I haven't talked to Chris Strawber about that, but I talked to the Assessors Association about that with fire fee, and they were strongly opposed to the idea. I don't know that Chris would be. I don't know if Chris is allowed to do that. But the association
Well,
was.
it'd be worth.
But I see a
looking into.
difference between a fire and this, because a lot of these farmers has got barns and everything, and that would be in your appraisal, you know?
Yeah.
And fire fee, but then barns has gotta be put out to catch on fire.
Right.
But we're talking about a piece of trash that comes out of one building on that property.
Can I just suggest that there's possibly a private business solution to this. I bet you we can find services out there that will handle billings like this. If we provide them the names and addresses and set a system up with every new house built, it gets submitted to this company. This company sends out a bill each month, and they have maybe a penny or 2 pennies on each invoice that they're making. It's all automated. It would be a simple thing to do. One of the things that's going to be added to the cost is postage.
Well, how are you gonna enforce it if they don't pay it?
Right.
You know what? That's going to be where the city and the county has to, delinquent list is given to the county, and then we'd have to find out from our attorneys, what can we do? I don't know. I don't know what we can do.
Mr.
All
Chairman,
I have ideas on how to collect it.
Donnie,
Go ahead, Mr. Don Eden.
well, Dennis makes a very good point. And then, of course, Burton made a very good point of how you're going to enforce it. I'm very familiar with Benton County and Logan County, and I assure you, you can have things on your tax bill that have nothing to do with your property.
That's right.
And that would solve both of our problems if we figured out a way to put it on the property tax bill. It wouldn't be a property tax, it would be a garbage tax, or whatever we call it. Then if you don't pay it, and you get a lien on your property. So you have the teeth built in there. I really think that all of us in this committee, especially me, have talked about this inequity for a number of years. The inequity between the people who live in the municipals and the people who live out in the county. The people who live in the municipals, the old theory was that they didn't want to pay anything for their garbage because they pay the city tax. Well, the truth is, the city tax is to get that garbage picked up, not to where it goes.
Right.
So I think that old theory that I was hearing when I brought this up several years ago, I really think we're on to something here. And I just want to be sure that you don't have to just have property itemized on your property taxes. It goes out once a year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Don.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think you're gonna have an issue with renters, with rental property. I think we've got a good friend that he would really take issue with having a trash fee on.
I like
Pass
to,
it on
Bert,
to
if it's a business model, if you're being charged for it, you
pass it
pass
on.
it on to your customers.
pass it on to the renters.
Your renters or whatever, you know.
He's making money. Who, our friend
If it's
is.
gonna be a
And
business, it's
and
gonna be a
and-
business.
And if we put it on the tax bill, it's going to be on.
We're gonna be paying for them renters.
Well,
No,
whoever owns the
I'm talking
property.
about if we put
Well, I
the
mean,
fee
yeah, well,
on
same
the
taxpayer.
tax bill, then to me, it's on there, and that would be, if we don't pay the whole 9 yards, then
Well, like,
Whatever they need to
I'm
do.
gonna use Gwen Martin now. They got 300 something rental houses. And they could probably pass that on, but, them coming up and paying that on their property tax would be a big lick. But still, I think Dennis is right. We could pay somebody to do that, or we could do it on per house in the county.
Well, the first thing we need to do is see if we can get it put on the county tax bill.
Yeah.
To me, that sounds,
Yeah, you know, and,
that's the first
and I
off.
don't know the mechanics of
Well,
getting it on there, but it
there's
seems
got
like
to
a
be
big deal.
legislation out there. The legislature has to have empowered the counties to do that. So we just, I mean, what's his name,
Mike,
guy we just talked
Mike
about?
Stewart.
Mike, I mean, he should be able to tell us.
Right, he ought to tell us which counties is doing it and how they're doing
I
it.
mean, you can do it by private act, or it can be done by general legislation.
He told me when we were talking the other day on the phone, he said some counties even use like a punch card at their convenience centers. You have to go buy a card at the solid waste office,
Okay.
and then that will get you so many dumps at the convenience center.
That's
So, I mean, he just went over different things, and if you want me to investigate that fairness of how it covers everybody, I'll call Mike tomorrow morning and say,
now,
how are these other counties actually doing it?
the downside of that, you know, okay, you get a punch on there, how many bags do I get for a punch? If I get 5 and I want to bring 4, do I, you know, how?
That's what I'm saying, I don't know if you punch per bag, if you punch per load, I guess you could do it however you wanted to set it up. But there was just different ways, he said, that some counties do it, so.
And of course, one thing it'll lead to is be probably more trash on the side of the road.
How does Springfield charge out their fee? What's
On
it
their
tied
electric
to?
bill,
On their what bill?
electric bill,
On the electric bill, through Springfield Electric.
yes. They use some other department in their own city to bill it,
We're not in the utility business.
no.
Correct.
You know, like, most of mine have got everything that the city charges for, you know, electric, water, sewer, the whole 9 yards is one bill each month.
Does yours show a separate line for sanitation?
I don't know,
I know they used
I
to.
look at water and I look at sewer and I get disgusted.
I
every
know
time.
used to, years ago, it was like listed as like sanitation fee or disposal. I can't remember how they worded it, because I've never lived in the city limits, so I've never had that ordeal.
That's how people own rental houses get out of it, because whoever rents the house has got to go turn the electricity on.
But you know, with this thing here, we get most of the property tax, I would think, at the end of the year. A lot of people that probably don't pay until
February.
February 28th or whatever it may be.
I thought that was a good idea, Bill, the more I listen, think about it.
And, you know, if they're gonna do that, like you're talking about the folks that own a lot of rental property, the 300 houses or whatever, you know, they should be collecting that each month.
Correct.
Right.
And,
I
you
mean,
know, you go.
if they
you
figure
go
in their
up and you
taxes
can pay
on it.
quarterly or whenever you want to with some of this.
Well, I just think we're gonna have to do some research. and see
I
what
think so, and, you know, we're gonna have to get,
See what we can do,
Get
what
the Shelton on our
legally
side,
we
too.
can do.
Agree. Where are we going next is, I guess, the question, right?
Well,
how soon can we move?
Yeah, and who needs to do
Right.
what?
What Bert said, get a hold of Mike, see what the other counties, how they're doing it.
but Corey, y'all are gonna have to do it. Y'all are gonna have to get on the phone and provide us some information. And,
See what other counties are
That's
doing,
right.
how they're doing it.
I mean, it's just like the business model. It'll be a lot quicker to develop a business model if we get some examples.
I like the idea, I just don't know how we can do it myself.
Well,
As far as-
That's what Mike's going to tell us how to do it.
Yeah.
So
This problem's
you gonna take care of
worse.
that
Yes,
starting tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll call Mark.
This problem's gonna get worse as this county grows and more people moves in, more
Yeah.
free trash.
And it will, 2 years,
Like
no
I
one
said,
ever had to be
2
adjusted.
years, we went up $600,000.
And in 2
What's
more
the
years, we'll
next
have to
one gonna
adjust
be?
again.
Of course, we got this time, you know, we got the new budget's got to be approved by in a month.
Well, Jody's got the new budget as far as solid waste figured out. It's what we gotta do is figure out we won't be sitting here next year with the same problem.
Well,
That's
that's, but it, you know, if we had more time, we would have
We could
the
have done it this
latitude
year.
to look at some alternatives. Right now, it sounds like that we're probably gonna need to get some more allocation, or more of the tax rate allocated to solid waste.
Mr. Wade, you won't say something?
Yeah, Keith and I were talking a little bit the other day, and we mentioned it in the committee meetings that a budget is just could be just a starting point. Right now, we ain't got time to go through all of what y'all got to do, but y'all can come in and say September or October with a plan, and we can amend that budget.
That's right.
Yeah.
And y'all can implement the changes you want to implement.
Yeah.
And we can start modifying that budget and making amendments to it. And of course, I'm interested in seeing what he suggests about enterprise funds and talking with Jody about how we implement that as well. It's a part of this as we can move forward. But
Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead, Corey.
So I'll start with Mike tomorrow and, see what I can get out of him, and I'll even contact other counties that I know that bill it. Cause I know he's busy with the 10-year plan, but I can call the other solid waste directors and see how they bill it out, whether it's electric, find out if anybody does do it through their trustee bill. And Mike may just know that off the top of the head. And Becky with, GNRC, I can ask her
Is she
anything.
related from Williams County?
No, that's Nancy Zion. And we had a meeting through, CTAS provided this, kind of like a Q&A for us of what's been going on during COVID and all that. Tuesday afternoon, we had a Zoom meeting. It was a lot of the solid waste directors, and I know Nancy Zion, she had mentioned that she had to go back and ask, for like a $500,000 budget amendment for this year, just because of the way things have been. But they cut off a lot of their trash to where we didn't either. So, but I can ask around.
What do you mean they cut off trash?
They didn't take any bulky at all during COVID-19. All they took was bag trash. They made people sit on it.
Sit on it, throw it on the right away.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I asked Mike
With the
about,
sinkhole.
and that's one thing y'all talking about stuff ending up on the side of the road. I asked Mike Stooksbury that. He said, well, if you think about it as you've already paid this fee up front, you want to get your money's worth out of it, so you're going to take it to the dump instead of throwing it on the side of the road. He said, at least that's how a lot of people think, saying, I want my money's worth out of this such and such fee every year, or however we decide to do it. But he said, I wouldn't let that thing prevent you from making any decision thinking it's going to end up on the side of the road. He said he hasn't seen it happen like that in counties that did do a fee for everybody.
They come here throwing the side of the road and only going to pay to get it off the trailer.
Yep. That's exactly right. I know there's some smaller counties there, their transfer stations, you don't charge them. They pay it all on I think it's Chester County. They pay it on one of their utility bills. And so you don't have any money whatsoever coming through because they don't do commercial. They're a very small county and small setup, but I'll get with Mike and get that ball rolling.
It sounded like it'd be better off we didn't have convenience centers. But that's a model that was set up years ago.
I don't think you could do without that.
Well, I'm not proposing that, but I'm just using that as an example of a lot of free trash that we handle. You know, when I say free, it's got to be covered by the tax rate.
Right, but if y'all go with a plan of billing out to every household,
It won't be free.
it won't be free no more.
Right.
And they need to look at some customers, where they're coming from.
Oh, yes, absolutely. The next thing, I'll try and run through this because I know we've already been here a while, but I wanted to show, especially after we talked about last meeting about breaking down things so starting on page 11, this is a report that I can actually pull from our computer system. It shows, like, this is a year's worth, and the reason I already had this printed is because I had given it to Mike Stooksbury for some figuring. But this was the 18-19 year is the first few pages. And then the, page 16 starts this current year, July 19 through, I did it through May 15th, 2020. And this is the type of report that I think maybe you're talking about, Mr. Bill, that would have like the brush, everything's kind of broken down in recycle in, recycle out, waste in, waste out. That kind of shows you down to everything. I mean, everything that comes, all my categories more or less of,
Hey,
in and
you
out.
look at that good, you'd have to take the staple out and lay the pages like in the stations. Really look at that good. Because I just looked at it and I had to go back to the first page to see what the headline was, you know.
Yeah, it needs
Yeah.
to be a
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like that, you keep going back to the first page.
Yeah, it's a spreadsheet.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
But, well, this is, I just didn't put I didn't carry the headers over, is
Yeah,
what I didn't
so
do, but.
You need to go home and take the staple out.
But this is just what I,
Floating header.
yeah, I got you. But anyways, this is what I was gonna ask you. Is this what you, like, we do this every month? Print out the previous month, like, say, since we meet the second week of the month, I pull out this and it shows you, mixed waste, Orlinda, out of county, private haulers, Springfield Public Works, every convenience center, waste out. Like I said, this is a year at a time that I had printed. So is something like this what you're looking for as far as a breakdown?
I think it's, and you just said like
Well,
next
I
month,
wish you had something that reflected even back 12 months. Spreadsheet where you'd have it each where,
month by month, what you're saying to
yeah,
the,
month by month for 12 months, and each month,
It's like when we start
a
in
new
July.
month would come on and a whole month would fall off.
Oh, so a rotating year.
Yeah, you'd have 12 months that you're looking.
Okay. And I can do that. I can set it up as to what's print out on this. But I just wanted to show you what I thought maybe would work from our system.
Yeah, I'd say right now, let's write it all in pencil, not ink. That way it can be changed easy.
yeah, whatever you come up with, if we want, somebody on the committee wants something different, we can,
Yeah,
We-
just
we
tweak
can
it.
look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Or, if we make it.
we gotta start somewhere, don't we?
Yeah, yes, sir, we do.
Yeah,
We do.
I thought that, because that's how we figure our numbers every month, that we put in the actual report is by pulling this report
Okay.
to show the convenience centers and break all that down for you, like on the second one.
Anybody have any questions on that?
So do a rotating year. By month.
Yeah, I would like to see, not necessarily every month, but I don't know. I'd like to know on the budget year, how many tax dollars are we getting out of each municipality? Out of Springfield, out of White House, out of Greenbrier. Do you follow what?
I understand that, but I don't get that on any of my reports.
Yeah, that would have to probably,
Well-
see, like 60% of the property tax dollars go towards school construction. And then it'd be hard to break it down.
I don't know how.
Without just saying, y'all are getting 1.9%. I see what Burton's saying,
Do
but
you think the trustee's office has any way of?
I don't know, I can ask them, Burton, but, it's all, so much goes towards school construction.
Yeah,
And some of it goes towards school general, what they do, and, right now, all I can tell you is that 1.9% goes to her, and that's all she gets. It's
Right
in
now.
in your budget book, of course, Jody's got that piece of pie.
Yeah.
And she's got it divided out into general fund, schools, and then like solid waste, it's about that wide,
That's where you got that facility.
That's where I got that. Yeah, it's in last year's budget book, if you look, where she's got her
Yeah, I
graphs,
know,
charts.
yeah.
Yeah. As more free trash comes in,
We gotta do the.
is that little piece of pie is gonna have to get bigger, or we're gonna have to do something
Well,
else.
of course, we've got to overcome this about $40,000 a month that we're paying for trash that we're not getting hauled. I mean, that's a.
40,000 a year, not a month. 40,000 a year, not a
Yeah,
month.
yeah, excuse me. Not 4,000, yeah,
Well, it's-
4,000 a
yeah,
month.
4,000 a month, correct.
So, well, that's the reason Mike needs to be called tomorrow and they need to come up with some plans. And we need to move, you
I
know,
think he's got the right plan, but it's just how we're gonna build it.
Yeah.
That's a big.
How to enforce it.
that's big, yeah. it's how
That's
we're
the
gonna
only-
do it. We're not in the utility business. And if you ask a utility like Adams City Water System, they've got all their customers in the county. If you ask them to do it for us, but then like White House Water, we had to do just part of the county, and they're not gonna do that, you know, and
City of
Pleasant View
Springfield
Water,
water.
some of it, you know, it's just,
Maybe like Mr. Wade said, we may have to just go find some way to do a billing, somebody that does the billing, pay them a percentage or something.
Well, but
I don't,
Randy,
or the tax thing would be the.
well, of course, the thing is that being able to enforce it.
Well, that's true too.
And that's the reason you got,
Telling somebody, here's a new bill and like pointing it out. Oh, this is because of the, you know, where we're doing our transfer station, we have to do this. I think it needs to be incorporated on something else. Trying to
yeah,
get a new,
I think the
put a
first thing
new
we
bill
wanna
out.
find out
Like
is some way
incorporated,
we
like.
can.
Whatever, I'd ask Mr. Mike Stooksbury's what some
Yeah,
other
yeah,
counties
talk
are
to
doing,
him.
what they're successful with. Cause I just.
If they are doing this, how they are doing it, yeah.
I see a new bill thinking to myself, taxpayers are gonna go, oh, now they're giving me another new bill.
Uh-huh.
well, people in Springfield's thinking, I already paid for somebody to take my trash.
I do.
They don't worry about how it's getting hauled down the road, they just worry about getting it out of the
I
house.
paid the city of Millersville. I got a city of Millersville, I got a White House, and a Cumberland Electric. I would just be thinking, golly, one more bill.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand your point, totally, but you know, on the other hand, it's gotta come somewhere, it's either gonna be that, or these taxpayers gonna say, oh, tax increase, it's gonna be one way or the other. It's gotta,
They're
You know,
gonna
I think
fuss,
it's
it
one
don't
time a
matter.
year. It's kinda like out, you see it one time a year.
You know what hurts is we got so many cities,
everybody's got.
like if you done a fire bill across the county, but then you got city people's got their fire departments, so that's not a fair way to do it.
It won't be easy in whatever we do.
I
I
know.
just wanted to get his advice. He's your expert, been doing it 20-something years. He knows, is it gonna be easy to implement? It's not. It's.
Any way you do it, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's gonna be
It will
difficult.
not be, that's right.
Trash ain't ever easy.
All right, let me bring up, did y'all look at this email from Trey Fan,
On the, yeah, I
May the
did,
19th?
talking about the ramp or
Yeah.
the pit.
Yeah.
I don't know, but right now, I thought we putting all that on hold right now for sure.
Well, you can't you need to be talking about it, Randy, because what it amounts to, we're running every day and got equipment running. And what we need to try to do is figure out some way to.
I agree, we gotta figure out, but. I'm
And,
just-
of course, the conversation I had, and I was talking to a mechanic, a heavy mechanic, that's, you know, and he brought up the grapple, which we saw down in the city of Franklin. I think we need to at least, get Trey to get some prices on what a grapple would cost. That would load the trucks, you know. Instead of loading them with a loader, push the trash with the loader, and then the grapple would pick it up and put it over in the truck.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, I'm just saying that.
Well,
I thought-
all I'm doing is that we get some information. I'm gonna make a motion that we have our county engineer to look into it for us.
Investigate.
All right, and give us a report back, maybe by our next meeting, what it would cost if we, instead of purchasing a loader, purchase a grapple, in essence, is what I'm talking about.
But that gravel goes on the loader, whatever.
No, Randy.
Separate
it's-
machine.
Separate machine.
Don't you
I
remember?
know what a gravel bucket is,
No, the things that, you
Franklin,
were down at Franklin,
yeah.
you know, the thing that was there mounted on a concrete.
Oh,
thing?
the bit, gosh, yeah, I know,
Like-
yeah.
like you-
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Like you use on a log truck.
Yeah.
So,
You talking about thousands of dollars.
Well, what are you talking about on the loader?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, go ahead, Mr. Don.
Commissioner Governor makes a good point. But if you remember the day we're in Franklin, those two stationary grapplers were steel, and the front end loader was pushing it into the truck. They loaded it by pushing it in there. Now, it might be an option, but I don't think we got enough overhead room to do that.
Well, all I'm doing is asking that county engineer be
I'm
authorized.
with y'all now on what you're talking about, though, for sure.
All I'm doing is get some further information, get a price.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that,
All
for
right, I'll
sure.
make
We
the
got a
motion.
motion on the
All
floor.
right.
Do we have a second?
After not a second, it dies for a second.
Okay. Do you have anything else,
What about that?
Corey?
Next I had the budget amendment review. Jody's got copies. I thought I had them. I was looking around.
Sorry, Burton, I was lost on that. I did read that, but I was completely, I know exactly.
I thought they
It was, robots.
Yeah, I've already seen.
We went through the line items that had gone over, and she actually made it very simple. She underlined them on pages 2, 3, and then the total on page 4. Of course, our bank charges, those we've estimated to go over based on last month's cost by $2,334. Our equipment maintenance, because of all the loader repairs, is over $41,284. And then the disposal fees, $359, was based on, was it last month, right? Last month's disposal is what we figured for the next 2 months. And then that was $125,972, for a total budget amendment of $169,590.
So let me explain, how we went through the financial statements. Actually ended up going through some estimates that I had. I was estimating really light, because when you and I went through it, we realized, there were some other costs that I didn't know of. But anyways, kind of believe that she may really only need 69,000 of this. But when you've got a $2.4 million budget, you've got to have some sort of a 1 or 2% cushion. So last year, I believe we did an $80,000 budget amendment, and she wound up with around 99,000 cushion. That's only 0.75%. That's pretty tight. So I think she should be okay. We went to all the trouble to make sure that she doesn't go over. If we do go over, it's an audit finding. We went to all this trouble and done all this work and tried to figure out what it was. I know 169,590 sounds like a lot. And we got a extra thing on here where it's supposed to be 2 readings because it's going to get fund balance. So when it gets presented at the June meeting, y'all will have to vote on it. The first vote, and then you'll have to do a second vote to suspend the rules. And then vote number 3 to get it to where we're in this fiscal year. So, it's just kind of one of those unfortunate things. It's all really mainly because your disposal fees have gone over.
Everybody understand that? I understand what you're talking about we don't need to have the cushion so small that it would
Really,
throw up another red flag. I mean,
$100,000 cushion is pretty light, but
we're doing the best we can.
yes, got some other areas. I think, don't you have where there's an employee, we're like 30,000 under on one of the,
Where I've had the
Payroll.
yard position open for half the year, probably most of the year now.
payroll line item, and I think she's gonna come in about 19 under on the capital. But your best bet is to just, these line items are specific, and you can tell you're definitely gonna go over on those specific.
Do we, need to make a motion on both of them, or can we do approve them on one?
You need to make a motion to go ahead and send this to the, budget committee. Budget committee will vote on it on the 9th, and then it'll go to the, commission on the 15th.
Okay, can I get a motion on that, please?
So moved.
Second? Can I get a second? Anybody out there?
Well, you can second it.
Okay, I
I'll
will.
second the motion.
Okay, Mr. Don, appreciate it. I got a motion, I have a second. Roll call, Mr. Don Eden,
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Burton Glover,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Moore,
Yes.
Randy Wilson, yes. 4-0, one absent. All right.
Okay, I have another item to, discuss with y'all. Your budget committee took care of y'all this year, okay? Because when I did your first budget, I'm going ahead and give this to everybody. When I did your budget the first time out, y'all were at a minus. And that's not gonna go with your comptroller. Need this, Mayor?
You did last year.
Well, when they passed it, it wasn't a minus. When they passed it, we said they were gonna have 283,000 ending fund balance estimated. Okay, I'm gonna have you go back, flip back 2 pages where it's saying 2020 at the top. Okay? What your budget committee did was they passed this budget here, where that's your fund balance, your revenues, and your expenditures. And like Dennis Wade was saying, if we have to have some budget amendments, we will. When I did this, it was based on March financials. And when I did the March financials, I absolutely had no idea that you all were going to have so much revenues for the COVID-19 in March and April. But I did have an expense amount there, so that's why it's showing, if you flip to a couple more pages back where it says transfer station, kind of got the longest expenses on it.
So where does it say transfer? Convenience,
Right under description, it's right after convenience.
So if you'll notice, did you find it? No.
Should have been right after convenience.
You went to, next one.
The third and last page.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you look over there, you'll see the disposal fees I've estimated at $2,478,675, and that was based on, I believe $217,000 is what we're paying. So I've talked to actually Corey, and you both have been seeing it being busy, so we're hoping it doesn't go too much over that. If it does, we'll deal with it when we need to. But that being said, that's put the biggest hurt on y'all's budget. And when you come and you look through the budget, what's been estimated originally, it's showing that you're at a minus $319,808. And the comptroller says that's a no-go. There's no way you can pass a budget like that. So I'm gonna have you come back to the front 2 pages. Budget committee took care of you on budget amendment number 38 that was passed by the county commission on Monday. Okay? The original track of this $500,000 was originally put into the, I guess, transportation. Yeah, it actually was put in there because the pit, the traffic flow project, the pit was going to be real expensive. Well, you guys realized it was too expensive, and there was actually budget amendment number 35 and 36, and they were just going to put the money all back into the general fund. Well, when we realized there was a problem with your budget, at this same meeting, they went ahead and they voided those 2. They said, oh, no, we can't do that. And they went ahead and have allowed the money to come back into solid waste. $500,000 is coming in as an operating transfer. So although you originally started out where you took $1,000,001 out of your fund to do the traffic flow project, really you all have only done 600, okay? Because the county put 500 in there. And they're giving you 500 of it back to help you with your fund balance. So it just so happened it worked that way. Wasn't planned at all. Just kind of makes you figure out, well, I guess it was meant to be. But that's how it works. And y'all know that you borrowed your 600,000 from debt service and one payment's been made back. And there will be 2 more payments that need to be made back. Okay? So when you look on this front page here, where it says 512, the budget committee approved this budget, and you'll notice that the 500,000 got put in there. And when you come out, it's showing that your ending fund balance next year is going to be 260,992. Okay? I'm showing where you put the extra 500 from budget amendment number 38. Am I going too fast? Y'all kind of with me?
No.
Huh?
You're fine.
Okay. Okay. So then I got your couple little stars over here by the reserve. I've got a note on there where it says the committed reserves for capital need to be suspended until all loans are paid back to debt service fund 151 in fiscal year 2022. And then whatever the comptroller thinks is okay for your ending fund balance. Now, how did you want to word that last part, Corey?
Well, I was just thinking, once we pay back debt services, we look in 2022, see what our fund balance is at that point. Because, I mean, it could change if we go to this charging every household, or, the revenue could be up, our fund balance can be up. So I think once we pay off debt services and
Then take a look.
then
See what
take
the
a look
comptroller
and
says.
see. But we would need a motion to suspend that and then have Clyde do a resolution up to suspend putting that 80,000 a year into that reserve fund so we could pay debt service back.
So it's just gonna go, not into the reserve, it's gonna go into debt service. Yeah.
I mean, it would just stay in our budget.
Yeah, it's staying in
Right.
fund balance.
It would stay in the fund
Was that
balance.
80,000, was that for equipment?
That's what we discussed last time. That's what we thought, but it really wasn't. It was all, Miss Jody, you explained that to us at the last.
Yeah, what happens is if you'll look on here,
Oh,
your reserve is either going to be in that fund balance number or it's going to be showing separate. And when you get to the end of the year, if you purchase capital, then you end up taking it away from your reserve. That's what happened.
Are you talking about,
Yeah, where it says reserve fund balance,
Okay.
that line item.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. It got taken out of there, put back up into the fund balance, and that's why last year showed 80. So this year, we're just gonna go on ahead and zero it out because you've got a difficult fund balance that, you're just gonna need to wait till you can get the, loan paid back and the fund balance gets increased. And I think from what they were talking about, y'all's business plan,
We'll help that out greatly.
well, all right.
Gotta happen.
Now, what if we had,
Have to have a loader tomorrow, don't you feel say?
well, I mean,
I don't think I
if
know
we
they
get-
do.
if the expenses get to the point where it's not feasible to keep spending on a loader. The newest loader we got is 6 years old.
You could always go to the budget committee or the county commission and ask for
I
money,
just
ask
want
them to
everybody
borrow
understand
money.
what we're-
Well, that's,
That's a good question. I mean,
that budget committee's aware.
Your budget
Bert-
committee,
Bert's
just
on
so
the
you
budget.
know,
He's on the budget.
your budget committee has done a good job to
Right.
take care of this for you
and
all.
nobody's
Very
saying they're not saying
They
that.
really have, and I
Right.
Well-
think
And we're
that,
very grateful.
well, I
I'm gonna tell you
think that
this.
they're going to step up to the plate and do whatever you guys need to operate, especially when they know that this business plan.
Well, it all comes down to common sense at the end. I mean, if something happens, we gotta have, but something loud, you can't let the trash.
It's one of those things, yeah, you have to have whatever you need to operate
The
your
bus-
department and the business.
Well, that's the way I look at it.
Your
We're saying
infrastructure.
the budget committee's been good to them, but they was good to them this year, but in years past when we wasn't getting enough money to operate.
well, of
Different
course,
budget committee members, I'm not sure.
I mean, we passed a budget last year that was way under balance, and
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't brought to our attention. I mean, one thing we've been sitting here is trying to get the revenue up where we won't have these
Well, y'all have
issues.
been spending funds on capital you never spent. Don't
Right.
forget that. You got a
Yeah.
Cedar Hill Convenience Center, you got one over here, and you're in the middle of this traffic flow. So this isn't really totally all an operational problem. It's been that because you all are going out and, taking care of capital, that's put the clamp on it. Just so happens that we found out that you're needing to do it the way Mike Stooksbury said. I mean, it kind of like crunched in all at the same time. Had that new bid where it's 12% increase, and then the revenues didn't get increased until March. And everything, like I said, was through March.
We was lucky to have the money to do this.
Very, very fortunate, yeah.
We're lucky we didn't build a pit.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
mean, honest,
Yeah.
that's the truth.
I think we're unlucky too, because I think a pit would be much more efficient, either that or.
Nobody's doubting that, I'm just saying for right now.
Yeah, that's,
This is what you have going on right now.
that's correct.
This is what you have going on right now to take care of everything. And then you see what happens with the business plan. And then, you plan these other capital things. But y'all
And
have
we're
really,
talking about a year, the auditor told us to put out a bare bones budget.
that's right.
That's true too.
Mhm.
All right, well, something I'd like for you to ask Mr. Stooksbury is about us absorbing this bank charge on credit card payments. I mean, I've heard, what we did and what we approved, but I think we need to change that.
Before we start that, I didn't get a motion we didn't finish where we were at here.
On the last, where we,
They're jumping.
All right.
We're getting
Help
jumping
me out,
back
was
and
that-
forth again,
is that
but
where we
where we
suspend the rules, or what?
suspend the 80,000 going into a reserve until, what she has written on this first page.
Yeah,
the
basically,
loans
that could be
paid
your
back.
motion.
Budget amendment.
Yeah, does everybody understand that? I need a motion for that.
Yeah, the resolution
To
to
suspend.
I thought you'd already got them.
No, that's.
That was
that's
for the
what I'm-
budget amendment.
Right.
This,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
I don't understand that. The
Okay.
question you asked.
On the,
The question, who asked, Mr. Don?
When you just said, does everybody understand that? And immediately I realized I didn't.
Okay,
We need a motion for there to be a resolution done to suspend the $80,000 that goes into reserved equipment every year. We're gonna suspend that until fiscal year '22, and that's when our other 400,000 will be paid back to debt services. Then we take a look at our fund balance and see if we've built that up. And then we start putting 80,000 back again.
Thank you, Corey. I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We got a second by Mr. Moore. Okay, Mr. Eden? You in favor of that, or against it?
Hang on. Yes, Mr. Chairman, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Glover?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Randy Wilson? Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Got that done. So I just want to get, before we skipped.
thank y'all.
Thank you, Jody.
Thank
so
you,
much.
Ms. Jones.
Glad it worked out for right now.
Well, we gotta make it,
6 o'clock, wrap it up, y'all.
yeah, I agree.
I'm
My cow's
waiting.
bagged about the bus, she's so tired, I gotta get home and milk her.
Well,
You got something else?
I want to,
I'll ask Mike about that, see what other counties do. I got that wrote down. I didn't want to get ahead to something else till we got all the motions done. Sorry.
Mr. Harris, you ready for us?
Yes, sir, I'll entertain the motion.
We adjourn?
You adjourn.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I gotta go check the cat.
I second, all in favor?
Aye.
You, Mr. Don?
I'm gonna get here at 7 o'clock every morning.
Ah,
Thank you, Mr. Don.
Good job, y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you, all
Now,
y'all.
Burton, if one of them loaders we gotta get when we go to budget committee.